Alrighty, tells me I'm live, but I never trust it. Plus, we got to kill a little bit of time for the YouTube ads to come through. Hi guys, how are you? Hope you've been well. I've been warm, which I like. Yesterday it was quite warm out, and I went and barbecued or grilled, as the food nerds like. You didn't barbecue, you grilled. Shut up. And my wife told me that according to her phone app, the temperature had it feels like 97 degrees rating. And I was like, really? This is kind of nice, actually. Because I do like it hot. Hi, guys. I'm the Ranting Monkey. This is Monkey in the Morning. And we're here to talk tonight about them crafty Jews and how they made Trump stop bombing Iran. I don't fucking know. I don't think like these people, so I can't really come up with the insanity that they get to when it comes to blaming everything on Jews. I want to. I really want to hate the Jews. I don't know. I can't bring myself quite to do it. Oh shit, I meant to have a story up for this. Ceasefire should bring it up, right? If I could learn to type. Cease. I need a new keyboard, man. Which one should we look at? How about, fuck it, let's go to the Politico one. While we were gone, many people accused me of trying to start World War III, which I absolutely did not do. Wasn't trying to do. I didn't even sleep all that much while I was gone. It got really hot here, so I had to put in the AC. The downstairs AC is just a window unit that we put in for the summer and then remove for the other 8 months of the year, 9 months of the year. That thing's heavy. It's heavy. And I paid for that. But I didn't sleep all that much. And that's probably why World War III didn't kick off. Actually, that's not why World War III didn't kick off. It didn't kick off because it's fucking Iran, okay? It's Iran, and Russia told them, no, we're not helping you. Maybe it's because I grew up in the 80s. Maybe it's because my entire life, basically, I've been having to hear about how if we do something to Iran, then they're going to do something back, and it's going to be the most horrible thing ever. It's going to cause a World War 45, I guess, is what we're up to these days. And it's never happened. You know why? Because they're fucking Iran. There was actually a time where you can go back because this is in my streaming career. I think it's after the killing of Soleimani where this comes up again, but they're like, Iran is the biggest army in the Middle East. We better be careful. You do realize we're the biggest army in the world, right? And we have nukes and they don't. And that being the biggest army in the Middle East is not really that fucking impressive. I mean, fuck. Everybody's acting like we're facing off against the Germans in World War II. No, Iran has no shot in hell of doing anything meaningful to us. Now, we got to take the Tucker Carlson route here, because Tucker Carlson had tweeted out about the ceasefire. Actually, this is right before the ceasefire. That what we're doing in Iran is going to get a whole bunch of people killed, and the reverberations from it, I'm paraphrasing, the reverberations from it could go on forever and ever. So now if in a year or 5 years or 10 years, Iran sponsors some terrorism, there'll be some dead Americans, which will suck. And they'll go, look, this is what it caused. Yeah, because they didn't hate us before this. They weren't trying to assassinate the president of the United States before this because of the killing of Soleimani. No. They loved us right up until Trump helped the Jews blow up the nuclear facilities that totally weren't going to be used to make nuclear weapons. Anyhow, so you had a whole bunch of people panicking over that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't panic at all. I'm like, it's fucking Iran. All right. They are no threat to us. Are they a threat to the Israelis? They're not even a threat to the Israelis, if we're being honest. As long as they don't get a bomb, and I don't mean conventional, you know what I mean? Bomb. As long as they don't get a bomb, there's really nothing to worry about from Iran. unless you're like, I don't know, Haiti, maybe. What kind of country could they take over or cause serious damage to if they wanted to? Frank, thank you so much. People who are afraid of Iran should watch the the Fat Electrician's video on when Iran had a mine damaged American Navy ship. In like an hour, we eliminated half their Navy. Was late 80s. Yeah, because, well, let's be honest, we're dealing mostly with life rafts these days for their Navy. But yeah, they don't stand a chance against us, okay? Not even a little bit, because they suck. They suck. This is what happens when you spend all your money promoting terrorism around the world for your little terrorist proxies instead of building up your own military. Or, I don't know, taking care of your people. Whichever. Those forced transgender surgeries aren't going to pay for themselves. So anyway, fast forward, because this weekend, Donald Trump announces that we're going to be bombing Iran. And of course, everybody panicked because people are stupid and panicky. And then the news came out earlier today that Iran has agreed to a ceasefire. Iran and Israel, I should say, and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire. And right up until the ceasefire, because the ceasefire just went into effect an hour ago, maybe. Right up until that point, the Iranians were still firing rockets over there at the Jews. For all it's worth, they weren't really doing much damage to them. And then the time came, and Iranian state TV went, "Yeah, it's ceasefire time," and there you go. It's the end of it. Now, the Iranians did retaliate against us. This is a true story. You can look it up. The Iranians fired at a U.S. U.S. Air Force base in Qatar. Before they did it, they called ahead and went, "We have to pretend that we're firing back at you. Could you move all your people away from this area, because we're gonna fire at it, and we don't accidentally want to kill an American, because then we know you'll lose your fucking minds on us. But we want to look like we have some teeth, so have everybody move." And so everybody got out of the fucking way, and they fired a couple of bombs, and most of them were shot down. One of them landed not even on the Air Force base. It landed outside of the Air Force base. Because Iran is a paper tiger. They're two-dimensional. They can't do shit. And if they were actually in any way interested in a fight with the U.S., they wouldn't have called ahead. But they called ahead to be like, "We're going to bomb that now. Please move." And they did. So everybody moved out of the way. Everything was fine. We got to fire some of our anti-missile missiles at them. Purportedly, there's a video online showing it. You can't really see anything. It's just, fire in the sky. But why were people panicking about Iran? Could somebody please explain this shit to me? I need somebody. Okay. We spend more on our military than the next 20 nations combined. And China's number 2. Well, Ukraine was when we were giving them all the money to support their military. But in terms of their own spending, China is number 2. Iran is such a tiny little pissant little country. I don't know why we haven't just taken it over and westernized the place. I know people are like, "No, not regime change." I'm not talking about regime change. I am talking about colonization. We need to colonize Iran. We need to go in there and just get rid of all the shit and make it a westernized country. Be done with this shit. The time for just leave them alone. Fuck that. It's way too. And look, we don't have to send boots on the ground at first. We can flatten the place and just be like, "Look, the new American beach." All of Iran is the American beach. And we can sell it to developers to come over there and, make it livable. Is anybody really shocked that they gave up, especially that quickly? Up until 1979, Iran was a Western country. Well, They were getting there, but there was okay. There's a lot that goes into the history of the Middle East. Like, how many of you guys know when the United States got involved in the Middle East? You guys know? Anybody? It was 1958. 1958 is when Lebanon asked us to come in and help Lebanon because they were having all of these. Egypt had just gone through this massive revolution, and they were like, please save us from going through this massive revolution. And who was it? Eisenhower's like, oh my God, communists might be a thing. Go help them. And we've been in there. For all the people like, we did it for the Jews. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. We've not been over there fucking around in the desert because of the Jews. That is some dumb, stupid shit made up by idiots and the Daily Stormer. Okay. That is not why we've been over in the Middle East for so long. Much of it started with fighting against communism because we were like, the communists are coming. And it was worse than that. It was radical Muslims were coming. And so you've seen a lot of the Middle East, especially Iran. If you look, go back and look at the pictures of Iran, and it's not 79 where you really have it, right? It's shortly before then. Because you have, goes back to with like the Shah of Iran and all that. I don't want to get that deep into history. But generally speaking, sure, it was much more westernized than the rise of the Ayatollahs in the late 70s, early 80s, and that's where a lot of this shit came from. All right, guys, I got to walk over to my refrigerator because I forgot to refill my drink. So if I get quieter, that's why. I'm still here. I'm not watching anybody else's content, so you don't got to worry about content theft. Sorry, I was just watching Willie Mack's latest video. And there was actually a clip of Hassan on there. And I hadn't seen this one before, where his audience is like, just pause the video before you, or when you go to the bathroom. And he says this, oh, so I'm just supposed to pee in a bottle? Like, nah, bro, they said pause the video. How do you get pee in a bottle from pause the video? Anyway, just tell me that people aren't watching for you and be done with it. So back to Iran. It's fine. If another terrorist attack happens from them, which it probably will, they were going to happen anyway. These are people whose main export is terrorism, for fuck's sake. There's a reason we killed Soleimani. There's a reason Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis all have money despite being dirt fucking poor. But boy, they can get bombs and weapons. And it's because of Iran. And Obama and Biden did their damnedest to give them money to get a bomb. I saw somebody today say, why shouldn't they have a bomb? That would make the Middle East the most peaceful it's ever been. Yeah, because Muslims are known to be, what's the word I want here? They're known to be very cautious when they're dealing with explosives. Yeah, one thing that would definitely help the Middle East be much nicer is a fundamentalist Muslim country that supports terrorism getting a nuke. What could possibly go wrong there? I don't understand people who think that way, because it has to do with sorry, I was putting my soda away. It has to do with a fundamental misunderstanding of the difference between Western culture and radical Islam. Not that any Islam is not radical by Western standards, but by, admittedly terrorist supporting nations. Like, no, they pay off 3 separate groups that are known for terrorism, but they totally would be responsible with a bomb. Muslims shouldn't have nukes, bombs, or planes, but that's my take. Yeah, they haven't really, shown. And again, not all. Hashtag not all. I don't think anybody should have nukes, if I'm being honest. I mean, think about America, right? We have nukes. Ilhan Omar's kids will be eligible to be president one day. You want them having nukes? I don't trust humans in general, but especially we're like, no, we can vote in any retard we want. Nobody should have them. They exist though. So what we need to do is make sure that the worst of the worst don't get them. Pakistan has nukes. Yes, so does India. And those two have scared the shit out of the world quite a few times, mostly fighting over a sweater. And it's a good thing it's never come to that, but Pakistan doesn't have the fundamental terrorist supporting notions that Iran does. I'm not saying they have none. I'm just saying that there is a scale here. What's the word that they like? A spectrum. There's a spectrum of how bad these folks are. There's only like 10 nuke powers. Let's see. There's the U.S., Russia, Great Britain, France. I don't think Germany has them, right? India, Israel, Pakistan. Is that it? I forget all the ones that have them, but it's really not that many. And once again, I had to see that, hey, they didn't even have a bomb, and now they won't get one for quite a while. Somebody said, all we did was bury their uranium. Well, it still slows them down because they got to dig that shit up. And it's not like, your kid buried your keys in the backyard and you just got to go get your shovel. You're talking about digging up uranium. You have to be careful with that shit. That's not a 2-minute project. Let them live in the 8th century and stay there. Yes. I do not want radical fundamentalists to have fucking nukes. President Trump on Monday announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran after a nearly 2-week war. It's the 12 days war officially between the two countries. Yeah, this started when the Jews, well, technically it started on October 7th, if we're being fair about it, because you have the Gaza bullshit, and then you immediately have Lebanon coming in. No, totally wasn't Iraq or Iran going after them. No. All of these terrorist groups just agreed to attack the Jews at the same time. Anyway, so ceasefire, and Trump did it, and all the people who were wringing their hands and being so, oh my God, we're all going to die, they can finally sleep tonight. I see Jen's in the chat, and sorry, Jen, I have to do this while you're here because your country makes me sad, man. I saw this today. This is from the official Canada. I didn't realize Canada had its own Twitter. You guys just have a Twitter? Does America have a Twitter? Anyway, they gave us this picture. Y'all's flag already has a leaf on it. Did it need to be gayer? That's a real country, y'all. They should rename it Ganadia. That is gay. I feel bad for Canadians. I really do. Yeah, Canada's gay. Yeah, they are. At least it's not the pride colors, right? At least it's at least you can still be manly, especially if you're a lesbian as a gay person. But goddamn, I saw that. I literally laughed out loud for like 2 minutes. Like, is that because I'm assuming that's some kind of government account, right? Is that what you want your government spending its time on? Like, look how gay we are. Is that really where your priorities lie? Like, there's nothing more impressive or more important to you than let's be gay. What was this one? Oh, yeah, I forgot about this one. This is from our time off. We have a lady who's got a solution to the ice problem, you see, because it's a problem that this actually goes somewhere else, I promise. But it's a problem that ICE is doing raids, so she's got a solution.
If you discover that snow is melting where you are and you want to let other
I'm going to get in trouble for this song.
This is an excellent way to let people know doing your civic duty.
I'm going to get hit for copyright because of this chunky monkey here. She's got this perfect idea to go to various apps and give ice warnings. See? Ice. All right. A 60s protest song. Yeah, and at least, I mean, you're protesting the Vietnam War then. They're protesting kicking illegals out of the country. My solution to this is I agree with her. And if you guys want to have a little fun in your own city, especially if you live in a major city, just go to different app sites and mark ICE and just freak out the illegals. It's not terrorizing. It's just freaking out. Freak out the illegals and see how quiet your city becomes when they never know whether or not there's actually an ICE raid. But this does lead to something a little more relevant in the world. Damn it, man. I wish they would keep my sizing. I hate what StreamYard just changed something that makes that do that. And it annoys the shit out of me. Because then we end up with just the black background again. And I hate that. I don't want that. This one right here. Now, I'm going to warn you guys, this is a little bit blurry, but I will give you the gist of it. So in Massachusetts, we had 4 illegals who sued the federal government over being deported to third nations. That's not like third world countries. What that means is instead of being in America or their home country, we ship them to another country that's agreed to take them. That's the third country thing. So they sued saying, hey, we don't want to go there. And this judge, Brian Murphy, he said, you guys can't send them to other countries. Yeah, they might get tortured there. That's what the lawsuit is all about. The illegals want proof that they won't be tortured in other countries. Have you tried going home? So this judge comes out there and says, DHS can't just deport these guys. No, I'm putting a stay on this. And it immediately goes up to the Supreme Court. I think it was Sotomayor. Maybe it was Brown Jackson. Which one is it? It was Sotomayor, I think. Asked the full court to take a look at it, and they did, and they said, no, that stay is not relevant. You can't do that. It's fine. Well, Judge Brian Murphy decided his stay is still in place because, where is it? The Supreme Court did not properly handle things. You see, the district court's remedial orders were not properly before the Supreme Court because the government has not appealed them or sought a stay pending a forthcoming appeal. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Which is not true. In fact, that's what the Supreme Court said, is that this is stayed pending appeal. But they're like, hey, there was no appeal yet. Well, it's at the Supreme Court. It's been appealed. So now this judge has come out and basically said that they don't have to follow the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court did it wrong. A lower court has ruled that the Supreme Court didn't do things right, so therefore they don't have to follow the Supreme Court. And it's kind of funny. Sotomayor wrote the dissent on this, and in it, she says the government would rather send somebody where they're going to be tortured. The torture part is just a given. You'd rather send them to be tortured than possibly have a judge overstep his bounds. She actually puts it that way. Like that's a slight paraphrasing of it, but she does say that hey, you'd rather send them to a third country than take the possibility that a judge might overstep his bounds. The dismissiveness of a judge overstepping their bounds just made my fucking jaw drop. I was reading other Supreme Court cases today, and it's amazing how Sotomayor, Brown Jackson, I always feel like that. Doesn't that sound racist? Katani Brown Jackson, if you just call her by her last names, Brown Jackson. That's Black Girl Jackson over there. Anyway, it's amazing how the three of them and Kagan are always on the wrong side. Kagan a little less so than others because there were like two cases where it was just Sotomayor and Brown Jackson together. But almost all of it is their feelings. If you read the dissent, it's like, this is how I feel. This is how I feel. And in this case, I mean, she's very, very upset that we might hold judges to any kind of, legal standard. That is fucking amazing to me that a sitting member of the Supreme Court, I get it because the Supreme Court has run roughshod over the law for so long. Most people think that that's just their job to go in there and make law. It's not. And Roe is probably one of the biggest examples of where they did this and got away with it for so long that they really do believe that their job is to correct the injustices of the world. It's not. It's really not. One of the cases that came before them was about emission standards in California. I'm boring the shit out of you guys, I know, but this is the stuff that I find interesting. So California made it so vehicle manufacturers had to have, I think it's 50% of their vehicle production zero emission. You had to have more green energy cars than gas powered cars. And by, I think it's 2030, they expect basically to have nothing but, and this is okay. And they estimated at that time, the gas powered car industry would $1 billion. Their terms, not mine. The car companies sue. Sorry about that. We are on the Starlink. My bad. I just want to make sure my link went through to Jack because it had an issue earlier. It did. Good. Okay. What was I talking about? So California said that these car companies or the gas powered car industry would lose $1 billion in 2020 and by 2030 over $10 billion. And some car companies sued and they're like, this is bullshit. You can't do that. And the reason that they were doing it was for global warming. What's up, Jack? How you doing, my friend?
Oh, I just woke up. How are you?
We're good. We're good. Just here talking about boring Supreme Court cases. I'm filling people in on the backstory of this case.
Oh,
okay. So the California claimed that they were doing this using the Air Protection Act. And Jack, what I'm talking about is them basically phasing out gas-powered cars.
Oh, yeah.
So they said they're doing it under the Clean Air Act. However, their goal is global warming. And the car companies argued that you can't use the Clean Air Act as it affects California to push a global agenda. And the majority of the court went, yeah, that you can't do that. It has to be based just on the air quality in California. Which seems like it would be an easy thing to fix for the lawmakers, Jack, if the air quality really is the issue.
Nah.
But of course, Sotomayor and Kagan and Brown Jackson were like, but my fifis.
But my agenda.
We should be able to do that. Who cares what the law says? That's why with Sotomayor's objection in this case in Massachusetts, it makes sense. They really do believe that judges should be above the law and able to. They don't think the president should be able to be a king, but they should be. So, yeah. You now have a district court judge blatantly defying the Supreme Court. And this will get challenged to the Supreme Court. How do you think they're going to rule?
Hard to say, honestly. Judges have been sticking their nose in other people's business for a while, dude.
They've scaled way back with the current court, and
Thankfully.
Brown Jackson and Sotomayor really do think it's 1980. Like, we'll just tell you how everybody has to be. And look, I still disagree with the court a lot, but they've gotten a lot more right in the last 5 years than they've gotten wrong.
Well, we got real lucky with Trump being able to pick so many judges.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to them thinking Hillary was going to be crowned. Honestly, I think that's about the only thing that saved us from a lot of more totalitarian nonsense.
Oh, without question.
I mean, yeah, sure, he picked Barrett and Party Boy, but you know what? They could have been worse choices if Hillary had picked them.
So, Jack, the case we're talking about is the one where 4 defendants, all illegals, are objecting to being sent to a nation that's not their home, their originating country, because they want proof they won't be tortured there. And
am I supposed to care about these people since they're criminals?
No, I don't either. But a judge stayed DHS because DHS is like, yeah, we're shipping them out. And they're like, no, we're putting a stay on that order. And it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And they said, no, we're putting a stay on this. It was an injunction. We're putting a stay on this injunction. And one of the funniest parts of this, Sotomayor, in her dissenting opinion here, wrote that they shouldn't grant this because they shouldn't grant the stay because Donald Trump has at least twice not listened to the court, and they shouldn't reward people for not listening to the court. And now you have a judge not listening to that order. How fucking great is that?
Oh, irony.
So now
because Trump hasn't listened to the court in some other thing doesn't mean you can punish him here.
You can't punish him for that anyway. You have to go by the law.
Oh, what?
She's like, we shouldn't grant this because he doesn't listen. Well, then you should grant it because he's not going to listen anyway. What the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, so now this is going to have to probably go back before the court, and the court is going to have to do that. And Sotomayor is going to have to say, but that judge only defied us once, and Trump did it twice, which will be one of my favorite things to read if she actually does that. Anyhow, so yeah, they can go forward as of right now, because you have to understand that judge can say that all he wants to, but the Supreme Court has already ruled, and that judge is absolutely in the wrong. So yeah, they can go ahead and start sending them people to other places and get them the hell out of here, which would make me happy, Jack.
Make me happy as well. Speaking of which, did you see that airport in Florida? They're talking about building a facility for detention.
No.
Apparently, it's located in a big alligator alley, so they're calling it Alligator Alcatraz.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah, because you said if they added some landmines, you'd be on their side.
Damn right.
Yes. I don't want landmines. I want shooters.
Well, that's a given, isn't it?
Well, they're kind of doing this old school Southern style where you build your prison on the edge of a swamp because nobody's coming back out of that swamp.
Yeah, but I mean, why wouldn't you have sharpshooters too? That's just silly.
Yeah, I want somebody to like let them get right to the edge of the swamp and then pop them so the gators have fresh meat.
Yeah, or the mines get them. You know, little of everything. Little something for everybody involved.
Yeah, who does? Even gators. Look, gators have kids, right?
Yeah,
They have babies. And all kids like nuggies. So
that's true.
some illegal nuggies for the alligator babies.
And look, you don't want that alligator to have to uproot himself, go riding the rails looking for work. That's family separation. We need gator families together. They're stronger that way. And occasionally, if they
Absolutely.
come across a mine, the guards get new boots.
Now, this one I just want to laugh at because it's funny as shit to me. There's no real point here. I don't even know the full context of their conversation. The Chiron tells me GOP accuses Dems of political theater after arrest, which is it really an accusation when it's real?
No, because these are all theater kids at this point.
I mean, I guess it is still an accusation. If you accuse somebody of murder and they murdered somebody, that is a murder accusation. But they're saying it like they accused them of it. They didn't really do it.
I was thinking of that Reno 911 clip when I see CNN anchors. I was murdered.
Yes. Excuse me. Thank you, Frank. How about sharks with freaking laser beams? Yes.
I mean, I don't really want to upgrade the gators too much, but yeah, that'd be pretty fucking awesome.
Also, this is not the first place authoritarian regimes have taken over. And when you look at what has happened in other countries where that has happened, they use certain issues to actually try. Immigration is one, trans issues is another one. And what
I'm gonna I need to see which authoritarian regime rose to power based on trans issues. Because I feel like that would have been in a history book somewhere and I haven't seen it.
Now, to be fair, that was an issue in Germany, Weimar, Germany. It wasn't a primary issue. Because there was the first school where a man did the male to female like vaginoplasty. The first successful one was in Germany, in Weimar, Germany, in Berlin. And the guy built a big school for sexual studies, and it attracted a lot of what we would have called cross-dressers.
Dark Conservatarian, thank you so much. Did you guys go over if and how Trump was legit in preemptively striking Iran? I tried asking a Trumper or a Trumpist about that, and he wouldn't answer. Was he too busy blowing his horn? I don't know the justification that Trump used. Usually presidents get away with doing this by like Congress wasn't in session, and under US federal or under US law, as long as Congress isn't in session, then the president can take some military action. The problem with that is that it was written back in 1776. Well, actually, 1781, whenever the Constitution's written, and it's no longer a real hardship to get Congress together to vote on going to war. But Congress has abdicated its responsibility in War Powers Acts anyway, so there's your answer.
He just sort of did it.
But it is, I mean, he did it on Saturday, right? And
I think so.
Technically, when Congress adjourns, they aren't in session until they come back to session the next day or whenever. So, yeah, I mean, it's if you're going by the principle of what the founders probably meant, yeah, it was probably dirty. But it's been used in every engagement of my lifetime. So
yeah,
I'm okay with him bombing Iran.
The main complaint I see from the various factions of the GOP or assorted networks is that this is not putting America first. But if Iran gets a nuke, you can absolutely bet they're going to try and make dirty bombs to sneak in here because they hate us.
Well, I saw people like, no, we should be worried about illegal immigration. Like Trump said, fire Homan and blow up Iran.
Yeah, you can have multiple things going on at once. Governments usually do. Shit,
Yep.
CIA usually has 1,000 things going on at once. So
Now, when it comes to bombings like that, it's I don't have a big issue with it. If he was sending troops in, then I'd have a big issue.
yeah, that's a different story though. This is small scale shit so far.
I mean, it technically was an act of war, but technically, Israel is our military ally, and they were attacked by proxies of Iran. So, I mean, there's a lot of shit you can get into there to justify it, but the long and short of it is, we bombed some nuclear facilities, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, the Israelis were the ones taking out planes and stuff like that. We just bombed some nuclear facilities.
Thank you, number 2. Sorry, but there's too much red tape to get sharks. All we could get was sea bass. Mutated sea bass, and they are ill-tempered. Yes. I'm gonna have to watch me some Austin Powers later.
Right?
Dark Conservatarian, thank you. Fair answer. Thanks, Monk. Legal or not, screw Iran. By the way, I'm playing Red Alert 1 while listening. Oh, wow, I love Red Alert. You know what I was thinking the other day? I really want to play Generals again, but I can't find a copy of it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The assassin makes a good point. Iran declared war on the U.S. in 1979. So technically, we're sort of at war with them already.
Another country declaring war on us doesn't automatically require that we are at war with them.
True, but
yeah,
but I mean, you could be like, well, they started it.
Yeah, well, true. That ideally, you know what? All you need to know about the video on the screen right now is the word salad that comes out of this lady. I'll throw the link into chat if anybody wants to watch the full thing later. But to this point, that's the argument that should go before Congress, right? In a perfect world, we should go to Congress and go, hey, we want to strike these people, because the whole idea is that while, yes, the president is the commander in chief, he can only use the military with the backing of Congress. It was to keep us from having a president who was just going willy-nilly into wars. You got to remember, these guys back in the 1700s, we talk about the world wars, right? Like it was something new, but Europe had been at war over stupid family bullshit for centuries.
Oh yeah,
millennia. And so the founders wanted there, to be some kind of safeguards, and you don't just have the president running around all willy-nilly with the military. They also didn't have modern weapons like we do now, where you could take care of a minor problem with just a quick airstrike. Iran's response shows you that we took care of the problem, because if they could actually respond, they would have. Because they got to look manly for their guys running around in dresses. It impresses the goats they're going to fuck later. Just saying. Anyway, Jack. Okay, let's get you off the screen there.
No, I like being on the screen.
Not you.
Oh, you said you.
But yeah, this lady just goes on and on about authoritarian regimes and has no concept of it. And the comment that I saw on this is somebody said CNN's not sending their best, and the reality is that is their best.
How sad is that? These people really are convinced they live in with like the most oppressive country in the world, and they've never been oppressed. Not like the North Koreans or people living under Chairman Mao. They don't understand what oppression really means. It's just a word to them.
To them, any inconvenience is oppression. And that's where
it blows my mind.
Well, that's where you get into these problems, because yes, it sucks when something is inconveniencing you, but when your life is so good that stubbing your toe is like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. Then yeah, it seems like it's worse than it is. It's just amazing to me how thin-skinned and sad people have gotten. Oh, we lost Jack. Nope, Jack's still there.
Oh, I'm here.
On my screen, your little thing down in the waiting room disappeared for a second, but you were still on the screen, so I was confused.
I'm having problems with my internet, so it might be popping around a little bit. The heat wave we're experiencing here is fucking with the internet lines, apparently.
I want to introduce you to Crazy Lady here.
Is this a real person or is this AI?
This is a real person. This is not only a real person, this is a real person who works for, I think, Minneapolis.
Well, I want to thank you for creating my new sleep paralysis demon.
Hang on, wait, where's she from again? I just want to make sure I get this. Oh, yeah, Madison, Wisconsin. I was wrong.
Close enough.
But we're here for this because this is her. And oh, no. This is not a Karen, Lesser Logic. This is not a Karen. This is a, well, you'll see.
Okay, y'all, I need a little real talk for a minute. Helping Carolyn Ann tell the world what a spirit medium and channel.
By the way, this is Carol Ann. She needs help telling Carol Ann something, Jack.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
This is Carol Ann, and she needs help telling Carol Ann something.
Is this like some poltergeist inception shit? Is she possessed?
Hold that thought. Chaos One, thank you. Command and Conquer Generals on Steam. If nothing else, the bundle is on sale for $7. Last I saw, you couldn't actually get Generals, though. They still had it on there, but you couldn't buy it. So I'll have to check again because I haven't played Generals in forever, and I love Generals. It's
I never
probably
got to play Generals.
It's probably my favorite CNC.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And I have played almost all of them.
Wow.
Speaking of which, if you guys like the Far Cry series, they are having massive sales right now. Of all of the Far Cries, 5 and 3 are my favorites in that order. I like 5 more than I like 3. But it's mostly because of updates in technology and stuff. I think 3 was great. That's what got me into the series. But you can play Far Cry 5 for $9 right now.
Did you ever play that Primal?
I have Primal, but I haven't played it yet. I played some of 4, and 4 is another one where after you play 5, trying to go back, the differences in technology are just, it was too great for me. I just played 5, and then I tried to play 4.
Oh, okay.
Got to have some separation there. I demand a proper sequel to Far Cry. Blood Dragon. Oh, that I don't know if they will ever do that. Blood Dragon is so iconic for them. I don't know if even they would fuck with that. Thank you, Chaos One. Check bundle info general and 0 hour in it. Oh, they got 0 hours, the expansion to generals. All right, back to Carol Ann here. Or we'll talk about video games all night. Because in my time off, Jack, I hurt myself putting the AC in. Sorry.
I figured that's what happened.
Man, it got hot here. Not for me, but for my wife. So I made sure to cool the house off. And I don't know how hot it got down there, but our feel like temperature got almost to 100.
Yeah, it's about where we're at.
But in my time off, I finished the 2 scenarios of Tropico I never finished, and had a blast doing that. I'm going to try streaming gaming again soon, guys, because it seems like the satellite has gotten better. We're only getting interrupted like once every. I'm not even say that because then the gods will be like, no, fuck monkey.
Yep.
But it has gotten better to where I think I could actually do streaming again. So we'll do that, and maybe I'll load up a Tropico and play it because I love me some Tropico. Although we got to get back to the hotel thing. Let's get back to our crazy lady. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is her goal now. Carolyn Ann, you can speak freely. We're also here. I, Carolyn Ann Kratowitz, I'm a spirit medium and divine.
I did not mean to do that.
Y'all.
I meant to just pause.
Okay, y'all, I need a little real talk for freely. We're also here. I, Carolyn Ann Kratowitz, am a spirit medium and divine.
She's having a struggle session with herself.
Well, the other alters are trying to get together and say, look, you front for us.
Oh, but these aren't altars, Jack.
Oh, I'm sorry, the spirits.
The spirits. Yes.
Yes.
She's a medium, you see.
Same general nonsense, slightly different window dressing.
Do you know what a spirit medium is? A spirit medium.
I do, and for those of you who believe in this shit, I apologize. It's bullshit charlatans who take advantage of other people.
Well, she's not even doing it properly. There's a whole performative aspect to it that she's doing wrong. She's doing the DID thing.
Assassin of the Grey says, "Go towards the light, Carolyn."
Oh yeah, I've got like a bunch of poltergeist references bouncing around.
All right.
A spirit medium holds space for a spirit to come through from beyond. What is a channel, Carolyn Ann? A channel. A channel allows spirit to speak out their faith. So says Carolyn Ann's guidance.
This woman works for the the city of Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah. She got a government job, yo.
That frightens me. I don't care what her job is.
Yeah. She is paid by the city.
Team. We like to slip in and out of this girl's fun, factual, funny ways of the world funny forward.
Apparently it's funny.
Does she have fun with her flicking her bean while these pretend spirits are possessing her?
I don't know what the fuck this lady's issue is.
Don't be so funny in the ways of the world order forward, Carolyn Ann. We need you to be serious.
Apparently when she talks like I talk when I'm talking about stupid people, that's when the spirits come in.
Yeah, see, she's using the DID acting method.
Yes.
To be a spiritual medium. And that it's obviously phony. She's not good at it, first of all. Second
This isn't believable to you?
No, I know I'm shocked too that I can see through the that I'm not convinced. Color me skeptical, monkey. I can
close-minded
believe in ancient
bastard.
reptilians, but not this.
Thank you, Frosted. Behold, as I attempt to read my own mind. Yes. I like how she's having the real-time argument.
She's workshopping it.
Even DID doesn't try to pull this shit.
They will now.
They will now, yes. You're talking to yourself, lady. Those aren't spirits. That's just how your brain works.
Yeah.
Serious?
Or
serious. Do you know how serious the what on earth? You have to be serious and not such a liar. Okay, I'm not a L-I-A-R, I'm a L-Y-R-E for these spirits. Do you know what a liar is? L-Y-R-E is something you play with.
This woman works for the government.
That does explain a lot, but I mean, if you said she worked for like Congress, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds right.
This woman, okay, and look, this is her in her free time. I don't know what she does on her job, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say she's not good at it.
Do you think she does this shit at work where people are like, I don't know how to respond to this without a HR problem?
Somebody come in for a marriage license, she start arguing with her spirit guides. Oh my God. I just love that this is real. How come people are so proud of being this dumb?
It's because we reward this shit. I mean, she wouldn't be doing this, recording it, probably for TikTok, let's be honest, if there wasn't people watching it. How many people have we looked at that did the DID thing where they're fronting a new altar? I'm upset. I know what those words mean.
This is my altar.
Yeah, I don't like that sentence I said made sense in my own head, because this stuff is stupid. It's performative shit children do to get attention from their parents.
Yeah, this woman claims to be taken over from the beyond, which, if that's true, shouldn't we be paying the spirit when she's doing her job?
I mean, we should be, but it's kind of hard to collect taxes on somebody that's already dead.
I feel like that's slave labor, right?
You'd think so. Plus, there used to be like usually with spiritual mediums, there's a pattern they follow where they do like some body shakes and some eye rolls and stuff.
Yeah.
Before the spirit takes over, and they shift their physical attributes a little bit, so they're trying to be like somebody else. This is just lazy. This woman annoys me. I don't like her. She looks like she smells like cat pee. And I'm angry that she has a government job that doesn't involve just being in a mental facility.
Daryl says, I'm privileged because I don't know what those mean. Oh, well.
Oh, we're going to ruin you, Daryl.
DID is the new terminology for split personality. It's dissociative identity disorder. And these people have what they call alters instead of multiple personalities. And they'll have a trigger when their new alter takes. The one chick who blinked really hard is probably my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she had some cosmic viewfinder.
It's like, you got something in your eye? What are you doing?
Yeah, and it's as insane as it sounds. Anyway, Jack, on the screen, we see the Federalist Society trolling Senator Whitehouse. Now, they didn't tag him in this, but this was, if you understand what goes on in politics, you'll know this is true. Senator Whitehouse from out there in, what is it, Maryland, Delaware? Where's Whitehouse from, guys?
Some shithole.
Connecticut? Yeah, one of those uppity little shit states in the Northeast. And he hates two things, the Federalist Society and blacks. Now,
yeah, it sounds like a New Englander.
Yeah, we know he hates black people because, as last we knew, he still belonged to a whites-only beach club. By the way, he's a Democrat, in case you were wondering. And he hates the Federalist Society because he has gone on multiple unhinged rants about the conspiracy of the Federalist Society to take over the Supreme Court. And all of their dark money, Jack.
Ooh, dark money!
Black money. He doesn't like black, man.
That's true.
Uppity is so Midwestern a term. I've been using the term uppity since I lived on the East Coast. I feel like uppity is a word I've used most of my life. I don't remember when I was back in California, but certainly when I lived in Virginia, Jack.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that was region locked, but
I like using the word uppity with a black guy on the screen that a Democrat hates because it makes me laugh. Anyway, Clarence Thomas, apparently it was his birthday, and happy birthday, sir. But when I saw this, my immediate thought was, did they ever find out whose pubic hair that was? Because I feel like that's a mystery that needs solved.
I mean, now you could DNA test it, but I'd be upset too if somebody put a pube on my can of Coke.
If you get a can of Coke and you're warm, you need a refreshing drink, and you get yourself a Coke, maybe you want a Jinx or something. I don't know how you got it, but you go to pop that top and there is a pubic hair on it. You deserve to know whose that is.
Yeah, especially if it's the last one.
You have a constitutional right to know whose pubic hair is on your Coke can.
Yeah, well, whoever's putting pubic hair on Coke cans is an enemy of the United States of America.
Absolutely. That sounds like some commie shit if I ever heard it.
Damn right.
Hey, you remember that cartoon, The Pirates of Dark Water? I've never even heard of that. Talk about a deep cut. Look. I'm a fan of what happened during the Clarence Thomas hearing. I'm not a fan of the fallout because, dear God, that ruined so much of society.
Yeah, Fucking Anita Hill, man.
Anita Hill and everybody wringing their hands because this man asked her out and she said no. And that was the end of it. Remember, the 3 charges against Clarence Thomas is that he asked her if she knew who put the pubic hair or whose pubic hair was on his Coke, which is a legitimate question if there's a pubic hair on your Coke. I will stand by that. That's a hill I'm willing to die on. 2, that he talked about Long Dong Silver and how he watched one of his movies and he was his favorite porn star. And 3, that he asked her out. Those are his horrible aggressions that should have kept him off the Supreme Court, according to Joe Biden.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb.
And there's no proof of any of it. And not only that, this woman who was so terribly sexually harassed by this man followed him to his next job. And because of that, we ended up with the bullshit we have now, where HR departments are a thing. And how dare you ask somebody you work with out and then, say, like, hey, you want to go out? And she's like, no. And you're like, cool. And you go back to your desk and now HR is there like, did you have romantic thoughts about one of your coworkers? You're a bad person.
We're going to have to fire you.
What's wrong with you? Like, you like girls? You're so gay. It really did. The Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas thing is a turning point in American history that has put a black eye on our country. And not a Clarence Thomas black eye, but like a pubic hair on your Coke black eye, Jack.
Anybody that got a cold Coke with a pubic hair, again, legitimate to ask anyone in the vicinity if they know who did that. What monstrous commie infiltrator committed this egregious wrong?
Because of this, sexual harassment went from, if you don't sleep with me, you're going to lose your job or you won't get any pay increase. Basically, in not embezzlement, strong arming. What's the word I'm looking for? Shit.
Repeat your sentence. We'll workshop this.
Where somebody forces you to do something against your will through coercion. Blackmail. Yeah, the other name for blackmail. Extortion. Thank you. Fuck. Why did my brain not let me have that?
See? We got it. It's a group effort. We got it.
Logical Mail, thank you. Anita Hill was the seed that grew the Me Too tree. Yes, 100%. But sexual harassment basically used to mean extortion for sex. And because of Anita Hill, it now means, hey, Sally, I like that top. Oh my God, I had boobs in this top. That was sexual. Anita Hill is the reason men and women can't talk anymore. Because, oh my God, and it's why anytime women get into a male space, suddenly the male space has to become the female space. Because let me tell you something, ladies, we make a lot of jokes. And the last place we saw this happen is the video game industry, Jack.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my God, it was such a boys' club. They made all kinds of sexual jokes. Yeah,
they did inappropriate things.
Yeah, they didn't do that because you're a woman. They did that because that's what men do, and we would have done it whether you were there or not. If you want to hang with the big boys, how about you stop whining like a chick? No, they were making sexual jokes and stuff. Yeah, Shio, thank you. Why do police officers get the planned? Sorry, why do the police protesters get to the planned protest so early? To beat the crowd. Only in my favorite videos. Saw a video today. Somebody said, this going with the Iran thing, are you gonna say anything about how Iran treats women? And this other person shot back with a video from 2020 where some stupid ass protesters were sitting in the street and the cops pepper sprayed them repeatedly and the one bitch wouldn't get up, so one of the cops kicked her. And he didn't really kick her, he pushed her with his foot. I was actually kind of rooting for him to kick. I watched it over and over again, kept hoping just one time he'd rail back like he was trying for a 50-yard field goal. But they're comparing that a bitch sitting in the middle of the street, refusing to get up, who had already been pepper sprayed repeatedly to how women are treated in Iran.
Those are very, very different things.
Get back to me when we stone her for having sex with the wrong person, you fucknut.
Yeah, or people start getting arrested because they didn't wear their veil, or the woman gets raped, but they take her back and stone her because she didn't have 4 witnesses, so clearly she's just a whore.
Irish Rose says women do that too, talking about conversations and jokes and stuff. Look, I've worked with a lot of really cool women who got the jokes and would joke along and all of that, but it only takes one, and that one is the one who ruins everything. And she's white, I promise you. It is kind of funny that the black woman kicked the whole thing off when it's all white women who do it now. Can't you white ladies let black women have anything? Why you got to take everything from them, man? You took their men. And okay, so you only took 2 things from them because you can't dance. I've seen you. What else did they take from black women? I know there's a list of it out there somewhere.
Hair extensions.
Probably. Oh yeah, hair extensions. Yep.
Technically, they're both taken from Indian women because that's whose hair it is.
Ebony says some black women do it too. I mean, like I said, Anita Hill kicked the whole thing off, but it's largely white women. Do this. Go look up who most of the people who have jobs in HR and tell me what color and sex they are. Jack, you want to guess?
Middle class white women.
It's mostly white women. Yeah, that's who runs HR departments.
Yeah. I would guess between 25 and 60.
You know who runs most diversity departments?
White women?
White women. Yeah. Because all of this nonsense is white women bullshit. The people who got upset over the Clarence Thomas, Anita Hill thing, they were all white women. I mean, Joe Biden is a white woman. Just saying.
Well, that's who ended up controlling him.
Yeah.
It's always like middle and upper class Karens. Like the type of people that'd be on their HOA boards, you know.
Muggy, you forgot white overweight women. It's not all overweight women. And that is a misconception.
They hire those as the fronts.
Those ones just tend to be the ones who get most offended at it because nobody will hit on them. So like, oh my God, why would you hit? I'm fat and ugly, and you didn't say I was cute.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, a lot of the women involved in this are uggos.
Oh, sure.
So not always physically, but always in personality.
I want to find that one chick. Where was that? God, I was busy today. I hadn't been online at all, really, for the last couple of days. You know, I was watching videos, but it's hard to do anything. So,
yeah, that's how I know when you're really injured is you're not online.
I'm not on Twitter even.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was paying for that. Oh, speaking of which, guys, at the end of this week, starting Saturday, I will be gone for. I believe I'll be gone for a full 8 days this time, Jack.
Wow.
Yeah. So, starting Saturday morning, we are going on vacation, and I am so happy.
So I'm going to be unemployed for a week, so I need all the money you could spare. You
could start up a stream, bro.
No, I can't, because every time I try and start up a stream, something goes horribly wrong. Like, because when I tried using StreamYards last time, it wouldn't do audio.
No. I was just going to ask, have you paid attention to this show? It's not like it's professional.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So anyway, on the screen, there's a meme. It's a guy asking a girl, can I buy you a drink? And the girl says, sure. And then her fat little friend comes in. She's not interested.
Oh, man, if I had a fucking dollar every time.
Well, this lady was very offended at this. And she's like, you guys know when this happens, it's because she gave her friend the signal. Come over here and save me from this creep, right? Right? It's you.
Great,
You're the creep. Yeah. let's look at that conversation again. Let's look at the picture again. Does she look like she's upset at all?
No. In fact, she has what appears to be something of a smile.
Now, ladies, all you got to do is say no, thank you if you're not actually interested. Do I think there's guys out there who don't take the hint? Yeah, that happens. But what also happens is your fat, ugly friend there is like, she's not interested because she's not getting hit on, and miserable, lonely people like to be surrounded by other miserable, lonely people.
Yep.
This is why you don't hang out. You don't have this with men as much as you do with women, where like the single one's like, your life is so suck with that love and shit. That's some seriously feminine shit, whereas like every little thing he does is a big problem, but she doesn't have a problem with it at first. It's not until she talks with her girlfriends that talk her into that shit. Fuck, we saw this with rape once, Jack.
Yeah.
We saw that there was a back in the Me Too days, there was a woman who had a great time with a man, put out and everything, and it wasn't until she talked to her friend that she realized she'd been raped.
Yeah. It's almost like that friend may have said something to her to convince her.
Yeah, and we're not talking about roofied or anything here. She willingly had sex with the guy and everything, and her friend convinced her. If you have to be convinced you were raped, and it's not a matter of you having passed out or anything, like you were completely coherent for the whole time, and like, no, I think you might have been raped. Then you weren't raped. But her fat little friend who didn't get any that night, even trying to give it away, even the black guys were like, no thanks. And she convinced her she'd been raped. Anyway, that's taking this idea to the full extreme. But anyway, she goes on to say this. My God, y'all are a bunch of autistic, weak-ass bitches getting your feelings hurt because you're the creep, ultra literally.
Ultra literally.
Not just literally, Jack. Ultra literally.
Well.
Calm down, ladies. If that's enough to dissuade you from ever speaking to women, y'all, NGMI. I don't know what NGMI is. Not going to make it, I guess.
Yes, that sounds right.
Nobody said that they wouldn't talk to women because of this. They were just mocking that this happens way too often. Way too often, Jack.
Yeah, that's why it's a meme now.
Yeah. And that's not to say there's not times that women don't give their friends little signals like, hey, save me from this. But it reminds me of an episode of Friends, Jack. It's after Ross and Rachel break up the first time, and Rachel's talking to this guy at the coffee house, and Ross goes to save her from him. And then afterwards, he's like, you're welcome. And she's like, for what? For saving me. And she goes, from the interesting man. And that's what it is. You have these fucking people who have an agenda that is not your happiness. Stop hanging out with these kinds of people. I don't understand why people do hang out with fun vampires and happiness destroyers. I don't know a better word for it. But where everything's just miserable all the time.
Because at some point you were sad, and this person sensed that, latched onto it, and now you can't shake them. And some women are just too nice to get rid of them. Most guys figure it out and just stop talking to those people. But I know guys that have these friends too. They're just like little parasites that sort of leech off of you because they do thrive on misery. They are fun sponges.
Yeah, women are more susceptible to this because they are more empathetic than men are.
Yeah.
And
way longer.
Yeah, and not saying anything, your empathy is a good thing, but it is used against you ladies a lot. And there are guys like this who are way too empathetic. And you're like, why are you hanging around that dude? And they're like, oh, I mean, I don't want to be mean to him. Like, tell him to fuck off. Anyhow, Jack, this lady goes on to say in another tweet that if you can't get to this stage, then you'll never get to this stage, basically. And I'm like, the can I buy you a drink stage? Isn't that like close to the opening? I haven't dated in a long time. But how deep into the conversation is at a bar, no less, because you're buying a drink? How deep into it are you like, can I buy you a drink?
That's often like one of the first steps. You know, you see a pretty girl from across the room and you go up to her, hey, can I buy you a drink? She's not interested. You're done. It's right after eye contact most of the time.
That part just made me laugh because she made it seem like it was some test to be a walk up to a. You can do that shit from across the bar. You can literally go to the bartender and like, hey, give her another whatever she's drinking, and tell her it's from me.
Yeah, this is stupid. She's making it sound like you did a bunch of social rituals and bought her some peacock feathers and all this other like performative shit before you ever got to the point where you're asking to buy her a drink. No, a lot of guys open with this.
Not to mention, a lot of ladies go out to bars and want guys to buy them drinks. There are women who brag about how little they have to pay for their own alcohol.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Men, we don't get that as much. Can't buy drinks anymore. They'll think you spiked it. Well, if you deliver it yourself, yeah. Have the bartender deliver it.
Yeah, or just take them up to the bar and say, what do you want?
You have the bartender deliver it, and then you go over to them afterwards. God, what a lost art.
Courtship in general is a lost art anymore.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to do any of this stuff. This meme is 100% correct. There are a lot of these women that just don't like men, usually because they're bitter, because they've been rejected too many times. And they're not all big fat piggy pigs, just conveniently most of them. But they will do everything they can to keep their friends from getting happy.
Now, if we did this in reverse, you got the two girls at the bottom hanging out together, and the guy wants to talk to the cute blonde. You know how men do this? This is how much nicer men are to their friends than women are. See, this woman is sucking this lady's happiness, possible happiness. This could have been her lover for life, right? Could have been a storybook romance. And she's like, no, he's not interested. If you're in that bottom picture, forget the she's not interested stuff. You want to talk to the blonde chick, and Jabba the slut is there. One of your homies be like, I'll jump on the fat one for you.
Yeah. Which is why I need black friends. So that they can, I can assist them by jumping on the skinny one for them.
Yeah. Did you get a Streamlabs from Shio? He's having issues with it.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, see, man,
it just came in.
We want our friends to be happy. Go ahead.
Thank you, Shio. I took my wife's wheelchair in the divorce. I bet that bitch comes crawling back to me. Ramen money. Thanks, Shio.
Jump on the Jabba. Yes. We jump on the Jabba all the time, man. That's what dudes do. Like, I will help you out, my friend. And you know what? Your friend's over there talking to a fat, ugly chick, and you're like, oh, that's going to be bad for him. You're like, but he's going to get laid. So you let him go, and so he can have some fun. I'm glad I'm not a woman, Jack. I don't think I'd make a very good woman. One, the penis kind of
kids.
Penis would be a detriment to being a woman.
I mean, these days.
Ah, yeah, you're right. I could be a Democrat, I guess.
Yeah, just say I'm a communist, and you instantly become a woman.
Fair. Oh my God! But no, I love this lady. Like, oh, you guys are so sensitive about this. It's just because you're creeps. Literally, the only thing in that cartoon is, hey, can I buy you a drink? Creep.
Yeah. I like how they read so much into it of all their own bad relationships or their dad or something. That they're like, he's being a creep. How do you know that?
Well, because to some of these people, that any interaction between men and women, any guy showing an attraction to a woman, that dude is horrible. He just wants to put his wiener in you. I saw a article. God, I wish I could remember the exact nature of it. But recently I saw an article where it was about how women need to understand that men are bad because they like sex. I'm barely paraphrasing her argument, but you women out there, if you're on the dating scene, be careful because men might want to have sex with you.
Yeah, that's some Andrea Dworkin levels of man hatred there.
Well, see, it's because women look at dating for hashtag not all, especially in the modern world with OnlyFans and shit. But it's the old thing. Women are looking for love where dudes are often just looking for sex. It's why even on dating apps that are popular, there are way more guys than there are girls. And the women will hook up with some guy and like, why do all these guys pump and dump me? Because that's
why you putting out on the first date.
Why are you looking for your soulmate swiping left?
Yeah.
I mean, or right. I don't use those. My wife doesn't let me date. Your whole thing is starting from you're cute enough for me to fuck. That's literally where you're starting from.
Yeah. He's not going to get to know you. He's there for sex. You're going to a sex app to try and find love.
Yes.
That's the absolute worst way to do it.
This is why getting to know people in person, why like you shouldn't date where you work. Well, then you should go somewhere where you can actually meet people.
Well, they don't want to do that anymore. Nobody wants to invest the time in getting to know someone.
No.
They all want immediate results of this is my forever person. And they expect that. They expect to know immediately whether or not you're going to be the right person for them. And they often have insanely unrealistic expectations because people don't socialize anymore. You would have more realistic expectations if you went out and did things with other people more often. And it's part of a growing problem in our culture, I think.
Natalie says, I found my man on Facebook dating, and I am waiting for marriage on my profile. Yeah, that would be, I guarantee you, if every woman on Tinder put I'm waiting for marriage, everyone would get swiped the bad way.
Yeah. Well, if they were serious, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But we don't have people that do stuff like that very often anymore. It is so rare to find people that actually met in person that wasn't in a bar or wasn't from one of these apps. And look at the divorce rate. It reflects a lot of these problems and has, because the less people get to know each other, the more likely they are to break up.
Natalie says getting married in August. Congratulations.
Yeah, I hope everything goes well. Congratulations.
What year is this? 20. This will be my 32nd wedding anniversary in August.
You said 19 something.
1992 is when or 93 is when I was married. So I was doing the math.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been married a long time.
Yeah. Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah. I'm kind of sexy. I'm just saying.
Mm.
Yeah. My stalker today told me nobody lusts after me. It hurt my feelings.
Did you go ask your wife?
Nah, she was sleeping. I didn't want to wake her up. Yeah.
Do you still, hey, honey, wake up. Do you still lust after me? Not right now.
Dude, did I tell you the story about when we went into the gas station the other day? Well, it wasn't a gas station. It was the cigarette store the other day. We walked in and the guy asked me how things were going. I said, or how I was doing. I said, living the dream. And Lady Monkey said, everybody says that, but nobody actually means it. I said, I do. I'm married to you.
Aww.
Right. That's the proper response to that. And the guy behind the counter is like, smooth. And my wife was like, fuck you. I don't remember her exact response, but it wasn't the melting that you would expect when you say something that sweet about. No, she's like, fuck you.
Well, you've been married so long, she knows you're full of shit.
She has never been impressed by me. It's one of my favorite things about her because I have a way with words. I'm a good-looking, funny guy. And my wife is like, fuck you. I don't care. And I love that about her. I love Lady Monkey. Me too. Okay. Jack, being outgoing and not giving a shit. And I was very popular in high school. I had panties being thrown at me constantly. And this is the one chick who's like, whatever. I'm like, I need her. Because that's what I want. I want somebody who's not impressed by me. I want to have to earn her panties, man. Just saying. I agree with Mrs. Monkey. Shut up. You know, when you heard me explain that just a moment ago, you went, oh. Like somebody put on Twitter today, and I'm not even going to point this out to my wife, but they said, name something you spent $300 or less on that you use every day and has really improved your life. And I said, my marriage license. See, most women be like, oh my God, he's so sweet. My wife would be like, you're kind of a bitch.
I would have said a box of condoms, but
that's who you use the same box every day.
No, I'm saying you, because that's how you got 3 kids.
I know my tacos. I don't even know where that came from. That is a weird comment out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't understand, but I would like some tacos now.
The day you're not amazed by someone, that's the day you need to leave. I got 32 years to say differently. Because if Lady Monkey was amazed by me constantly, it'd be a completely different thing.
Well, usually when I hear something like that, it's oh my God, I'm so amazed by you. Like I'm a disappointment. Like, I can't believe you just did that.
It's right. I want to put this one on the screen so we can talk about it, because Jack, I kind of understand, but I also have to make fun of it. So Gavin Newsom said California didn't become the heart of entertainment by accident. It was built by skilled workers and creative talent and the mafia. That's why we're awarding 48 more film projects with Film California tax credits to support behind-the-scenes crew and boost local economies.
To launder money. I mean, what?
The reason this bothers me, I get the helping the local economies by having film crews come in and stuff, so you got to give them tax and acknowledge what we're talking about here is giving tax incentives to millionaires to make an art project.
Yeah.
That's what you're spending the money on, is like, hey, what we really need to do is give a break to those guys over there making a film. They only spent $120 million on this. They might be poor. They might need some breaks that you plebeians don't need. Yeah. Michigan does. I don't know if you guys have a film council. We do, and we give tax breaks to people who come and film here.
I don't know if we do or not.
As far as I know, it hasn't actually helped the local economies because, you know, they're in and out so quickly and they cause a lot of destruction in their wake.
Yeah.
But is this really what tax breaks should be going for? It's not like you're building a new car factory there that's going to provide jobs for the next 20 years.
Yeah, these are all at best temporary jobs, even the union ones.
The life of a film it goes for a couple of years depending on the film, but the actual shooting, the stuff that's done in the towns and stuff, is what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, you're talking a couple of weeks to a couple months at most.
And it's not the big production you think it is. I know you see those credits when they roll by. A lot of that shit is done in a studio in Hollywood, or more likely Malaysia, or whatever. I don't know what Asian country we're exploiting for our films these days.
I think it varies by how much money you're throwing at it.
The Upper Peninsula of Michigan will be state 51 before these Canadian fuckers. Well, I mean, technically then it would still be Canadian because the Upper Peninsula belongs to Canada or Wisconsin. I'm not sure which, but it's not Michigan. Look at a map. You tell me how that piece of land that is attached to 2 other pieces of land somehow became the property of the one it's separated by water from.
Wasn't that your consolation prize for Ohio getting Toledo?
I guess. Why did Ohio have control of it?
What, Toledo?
No, the UP.
No, you got the UP from the government as because they decided to give Toledo to Ohio.
Oh,
They're not directly related things. It wasn't a trade.
I don't recognize the UP, so I haven't studied it because it's Canada. Why would I care about Canada?
I don't know.
Exactly. Have you been getting members only shit at the top of your YouTube recommendations?
Yes.
Right dead center.
Yeah.
Why do they keep doing this shit? I'm not
They're
going to watch
pushing
it.
memberships pretty hard.
I don't give a shit. I'm not going to become members. Most of these channels don't even post enough for memberships to be a thing.
Look, I think that YouTube is trying to bring in more revenue somehow, and while the memberships are cool, most of the channels that I get the ads for are ones I would never pay for. I don't want to watch their regular videos.
Well, the one that really made me notice this is there was a video that came up and the title of it intrigued me, and then I looked and it was 4 months. Was it 4 months old? Either 4 months or 4 weeks old. I forget which. No, it was 4 months, and it was a membership only one. I'm like, you still have it set to members only 4 months later? And why YouTube? I typically watch brand new content and music videos are what I watch on YouTube. And you're showing me 4-month-old content. Your algorithm is broken. Just saying.
What people could get instead of memberships is there's this thing called Patreon.
True.
And I think both of us have one of those where you can support your favorite creator either through memberships or through Patreon. Links in the description.
I don't have a problem with the idea of memberships. I have a problem with YouTube pushing this membership only content shit on me. Because I that wouldn't be something that I would be attracted to in the first place. And with like on Patreon, a lot of people, they'll do some Patreon only stuff, but most people use it as like a precursor. Like, we're going to release it on Friday and you can watch it on Friday over there, or it'll be out next Friday for everyone else. And that, at least I understand. But a 4-month-old video, they're like, you want to pay for this? Like, no, I really don't.
Yeah, there was one guy I used to watch, did like paranormal reviews or paranormal stuff. And he would wait like 6 months and then hide the video behind the paywall.
There you go.
I'm like, okay, I get why you're doing that, but that doesn't really seem that. I mean, it's kind of douchey. You already got all the views you're going to get.
Yeah, it's backwards that way.
Yeah, usually when you offer like early access or exclusives or something like that.
All right, we got to talk about the. Do I want to talk about this, Jake?
I've got recommends for 17-year-old videos. Jesus.
All right. I'm going to talk about this. I'm just going to warn you guys. This is a very sensitive subject. I don't know if I should talk about this, but I feel like it needs talked about. On the screen is a channel called Save a Fox. And that lady there, she's not calling herself a fox. She actually saves foxes so they don't get turned into coats. Apparently, that's a big deal. She used to. She recently killed herself.
Oh, damn.
And her husband put out a video about how all the stories you can find on it all say that online harassment caused her to kill herself. But the reason I wanted to talk about it, Jack, is because he also says she's had a lifelong struggle with impulsivity and emotional battiness. She's overly emotional and impulsive.
Oh, yeah, those are bad precursors to self-harm.
And he tells that mostly it's people she actually knows who have said things to her, but this is being framed as though like people were mean to her on the internet, so she offed herself. And it's just not what happened.
Did she have bipolar by any chance?
Yup. How'd you guess that?
Impulsiveness and emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those two are precursor.
Uh-oh.
Why are
There
you
we
doing
go.
that? What are you doing? Stop it!
What's going on?
You surprised me with ducks.
Oh, yeah, my internet dropped for a second. What's weird, though, is I didn't see the ducks that time.
Yeah. Oh, you
Odd.
never left. I heard you the entire time. The screen just flashed off to the ducks.
Okay, so okay.
Because I heard you go make that pop sound.
You were saying, I asked you why you guessed bipolar.
Because the impulsivity and emotional swings are very common symptoms of bipolar, especially bipolar 2. So I've worked with a few and dated a few crazies. So
I'm not happy she's dead. Please understand. I think it's horrible that she's dead.
Absolutely. It's always tragic when someone does that.
Monk, what kind of music video do you watch? Thank you, Michael, or Michelle. That's not Michael. That's Michelle Kincaid. I'm like, did you get married? Anyway, it depends on my mood. I watch all kinds of shit. My taste is very eclectic. Everybody likes to claim their music taste is eclectic. And you ask them to name songs they like, or you ask them about artists, and they only like one genre of music.
Yeah.
I have an eclectic taste. I only listen to country. Like, that's not what eclectic means.
Right?
But the other day, my playlist went from the Gangnam Style remix, the one that German group did. The very next song was Butterfly Kisses. And that's how, because of my watch patterns on YouTube, it was a My Mix thing that came up. I didn't select those that way. And later on, it played Ice Ice Baby without me touching anything. I'm all over the place when it comes to music. Anyway, I just hate in this situation where they're trying to frame as like, can you believe what the internet did to this girl? And the truth is, she just had a mental illness. She needed some help and never got it.
Yeah.
It sucks. Or didn't get enough, or for whatever reason, something did trigger her. But everything he describes in there is her personal life. And the downplaying of her country's pretty good. Old country's pretty good too. Oh, yeah. Love me some old country.
Yeah, like 70s country. I can even go with like old bluegrass from like the 30s.
I like most country, even when it became more poppy in the 90s. Absolutely. Aren't those My Mix things created by individuals? Not that I'm aware of. Not the My Mix ones. There are other mix ones that are more curated. But the My Mix is based on your listening habits. Anyhow, which they get much better than they get my watching habits. Whatever they're applying to their music algorithm, they need to apply to their video algorithm. This is the one I want. We need to talk a little bit, Jack, about Ethan Klein and what's going on in that situation, because it's been funny. We're going to pull Legal Mindset's face up here so you guys don't have to look at ours. This is Legal Mindset, and I'm so glad he did his video, because I saw so many people repeating the nonsense that Ethan said in his lawsuit or in his video, where you have to register or you don't really have your copyright. And he's like, no, that's not true. And there's an actual lawyer saying it. Thank you, whatever the hell your name is again. I appreciate the backup on that.
Yep.
The idiots have responded, Jack.
Of course they have.
Casey Trons was really, how do I put this? Well, like she was high, which you kind of expect with her.
It does seem to be a theme.
Seems on brand, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a response from Frogan except for her give me $200,000 and I'll keep it even without legal expenses bullshit. And it didn't hit me till earlier today that the one who asked for the most money is the one who gave the most vague usage of that money.
Yeah.
And the update last I saw, Casey Tron has raised $9,000. Well, it was 8.8 thousand, 8,840 actually. I don't know why I remember that number. That bothers me. Frogan is in second place with like 26,000, of which 10,000 of that was a single donation. And our girl Denims is up to $28,000. Ethan is going to be one well-paid Jew.
Yeah. I can't believe people are giving these dumbasses money. Well, I can. I just don't want to believe it.
Denims comes out with it wasn't her video. It was a clip from her show, will be generous, where she talked for over an hour about almost everything except what the claim was in the video.
That sounds right.
Because remember, the whole reason Ethan is suing is because they were malicious in the way, and the reason I have Legal Bites on the screen, or Legal Mindset, sorry, dude. Legal Bites was that annoying chick, right?
I don't remember.
God, the old days of LawTube seems so long ago. Anyway, the whole reason that he's suing is because of the malicious intent of trying to take money from him, trying to take views from him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you get money on this grand adventure we're drawing.
And Hassan hasn't donated a single penny. I don't believe that. Unless somebody's come forward with that $10,000, I'm going to assume that was Hassan. But in her thing, she goes over a bunch of stuff like Ethan's a liar, and I will be honest, he did take a couple of things she said out of context, not very far out of context, but where it looks worse than what she was actually saying. And I'd give you the examples if I gave a shit. None of it matters. None of it matters. This is all going to come down to the 4 pillars of copyright, of fair use in copyright. And you guys fucked yourselves so bad. What you should be doing is, we made a mistake. Why do I have Jack on the show?
I show up.
I thought it was because you were funny.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Thought I had the wrong channel. Like, I put Legal Mindset up there just because it gives us something to look at. Actually, I do it so I can tell whether or not I'm popping off. Go watch Legal Mindset stuff. I really do like a lot of his content. When it deals with legal issues I care about, he talks a lot about like lawsuits and stuff going on in like the anime community, because there's a lot of shit going on over there. But those are suits I don't really care about. But when he covers something I do care about, I watch all the time. These girls are just screwed. And he gives them a much better chance than I do in all of this. I think he said he thinks the cost for like Ethan will probably be 40 to 60,000, I believe is the dollar range he said. Will he recover that much from those girls? Probably, at least, because he'll probably get legal fees as well. But these girls are screwed, and you have a whole bunch of people who don't get it, and they want to make this about how much they hate Ethan, or how my favorite things, they just went after the women's. He just hates women. He is a woman. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Was it vindictive? Yeah, probably, but that doesn't mean he's wrong to do it or in any way going to lose this. He's going to win. Yeah, odds are great that he has the money to throw away on this. Ethan makes a lot of money. He's a millionaire easily. Yep. So he
I mean-
has plenty of money to waste on this, and I bet he's got a good lawyer.
Monkey misread that. What did I misread? Not that legal channel. This is Ranting Monkey, and you're all monkey. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, I'm tired of the people who don't, because I had an argument today with Viva Frey.
There's
And-
a surprise.
Well, it was the stupidest shit. Okay, so this is over the whole Iran thing, and like so many, the Trump camp split on Twitter. You had the people like, we're supposed to be America first, you can't do anything else. And on the other side, you had the, whatever Trump does is the greatest thing ever. And I frankly hate both sides.
Yeah, I get it.
But Viva is in the oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this kind of crowd. And somebody said to him that over the last 72 hours, he seemed to be panicking. And he go, oh, what gave you that impression? And so the guy pulled up one of Viva's posts. And Viva responded to it saying that he did have those concerns. And even though there's a ceasefire that hasn't gone through yet and has never actually worked, that he still shares those concerns. And so I simply said, that's a long way of saying you were right. I was panicked. To which he shot back with, that's a long way to say I'm fucking stupid.
Oh, what a great comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, so original.
Several people who responded to that thought I was taking a position on the Iran thing. You guys, I've given you guys my position, but I haven't really said it on Twitter because I haven't really had a reason to.
Yeah.
But what he did there was asinine. Like, oh, really? Prove it. Well, here's your proof. Well, I'm still not going to admit you were right. And that's what intrigued me about it. I don't give a shit where he stands on bombing Iran because he's Viva Frey. Who gives a fuck?
Right? He's not a politician. He's a Canadian, for God's sake.
But it bothers me when people can't separate what's actually being said from the argument they want to have.
Yeah.
Like pointing out that these girls are fucked because they openly said they were trying to take views from Ethan has nothing to do with females. Has nothing to do with him hating women or anything that Ethan could have come out before and say, I hate all bitches. I hope they all die. And it would have nothing to do with whether or not his lawsuit has merit.
Yep. That's the thing. They wouldn't make it about like him hating women, like you said, or the fact that he's Jewish. They're not. The one's Islamic or whatever. It's got nothing to do with that at all.
No.
It's about this specific incident where they tried to take away views by stream sniping, effectively.
Yeah.
And they're in the wrong. They even
Yeah.
said that's what they were doing, was trying to steal his views.
And you can't do that. And so you can have all of the other things. Hate Ethan. I do. I'm not against hating Ethan.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this lawsuit, another thing I saw, and even Legal Mindset there was saying it, is that everybody's worried that this means reaction content in general won't be allowed. And not legally, Jack, that the platforms will clamp down on it. This is a very specific thing, though. This could it lead to that eventually? Sure, because although the main part of this is that they specifically said they were going after his content, in the lawsuit, he does bring up that they're not actually reacting, that they're adding nothing to it. There's nothing transformative. They get up and leave. So that's all part of this lawsuit, and that could come into play. But the immediate question is, were they trying to harm his stuff? And frankly, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm okay if thieves aren't rewarded anymore.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to add context.
It's really not. But you know what? For them, it's not about context. It's the fact they don't like Ethan.
Yes. I mean, but many of them have been content thieves for a long time, and they've justified it in the past.
Yeah, and Hassan should be a little nervous about this, like we said, but
all of the people are always just doing this to be malicious. He's just doing it to be petty. What were they doing? They weren't doing it to find out what Ethan said. They were openly mocking and like, oh, we're gonna take this away from him because we're gonna have to watch. Fucking Denim seems. I was afraid to watch this by myself. I didn't want to watch this by myself. The big man on the YouTube that I don't have to watch was going to say some words. That doesn't justify breaking fair use, and especially the egregious, we want to hurt him part of it. Malicious. Yeah.
The maliciousness really is rather pathetic, but they're going to get punitive damages because of their pettiness.
Yeah.
Because it was so obviously malicious. They're targeting him specifically. That's going to cost them more money.
And if they try to come back with some petty nonsense of their own, like if Denim's, decides to countersue because he defamed her, you're just going to piss off that judge.
Yeah. And she's going to lose anyway.
Yeah, because it has nothing to do with this matter. So it'll be interesting to watch it all play out more. But I have been enjoying all the videos with people talking about it. There seems to be a general consensus that as soon as she said, or each of them gave the impression that it was specifically to take away views, they were fucked. Only their most hardcore supporters are like, nah, I like her boobies. And look, yeah, Denim's got some nice little B cups on her. They're okay. But they're not worth, making yourself an idiot for. I don't know why anybody supports Frogan.
I have no idea. She's very unlikable.
She's stupid, ugly, and unlikable. I don't get it.
That's a hell of a combination.
That's the trifecta of fuck no.
Yeah.
The other chick, I could kind of see it because she gets so high, she'd probably let you put it in whichever hole in whichever order you wanted. And I can see some guys being so desperate that they're like, yeah, I'll do that one. But Frogan, man. If you're hanging out at a bar with your homie and you see Frogan standing next to a hot chick that you want to go talk to, and your homie's like, I'll jump on that grenade. You're like, nah, bro. Nah, I like you too much for that. I'll just find a different girl. Michelle, thank you. AJW put out a video earlier too. He's pretty good. Actual Justice Warrior. Yeah, I saw his video on it, but I'm gonna be honest. Sorry, Sean, if you're listening. You got a full video view from me, but I was fucking around on Twitter and was only catching half of it. In my defense, that was like the 6th video I'd watched about.
Yeah, that'll happen.
What? At least I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, it happens. You hear the same thing over and over again. You kind of zone out sometimes, especially when you're spurging out on Twitter, fighting with those retards that seem to come out of the woodwork just as soon as you post.
That Aaron chick, god damn.
I think that they're in love with you. I'm not convinced that's a woman.
So after the Viva Frey thing, when he called me fucking stupid, somebody pointed out that's just an ad hom. And one thing that Viva will tell you is that if you start with an ad hom, which that was his first response to me, then you've lost because you have no argument. Mm-hmm. And one of Viva's regular watchers was like, damn, dude, you just did what you always say other people do when they're proving they're losing. You threw an ad hom and Aaron popped up. Monkey uses ad homs every day. I wasn't even online yesterday. But even if I did, it has nothing to do with the argument. It's whether Viva does or not. Yeah. I've told you guys many times, ad homs are fine. I don't give a fuck about them. Don't care. However, if I call you fucking stupid and you were being fucking stupid, not an ad hom. So that's a genuine reaction to you being fucking stupid. In this case, though, I wasn't being fucking stupid, so that was an ad hom. I'm just saying. I hate this, not especially online, when if you insult somebody, ad hom, and like, shut up,
Yeah,
sissy.
you're not in a formal debate. Stop being a bitch.
Why are you such a bitch about it?
I find it hilarious that the people that use like the fallacies and all that the most are people that do not understand structured actual debates.
No.
So they're using stuff from structured debates to try and interject in some conversation that they wandered into.
I
Not
saw
the
an
same thing.
argument about the law where somebody pointed to the law and somebody went, that's an appeal to authority. Like,
It's the law, so
if
Wow.
you're having a moral argument about what a law is and they just point to the law, then that would be an appeal to authority. If you're discussing what the law actually says and you point to it, that's just using reality.
yeah, it does. Wow.
Yeah, I enjoy watching when these things happen, because the number of people who hear something online and don't understand what it actually means and then use it is astounding.
Look at you trying to tortiously interfere in their tweets.
Right? Fuck, man. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up here, Jack. I'm gonna go lay back down. I've been sitting up too long and my spine's like, we're done. And it kind of rules the roost.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Miss Phoebe today, I gotta tell you my Phoebe story. she sleeps up high on this it used to be a TV stand. I don't know technically what it is now, but she sleeps way up high in there. And if I come down the hallway and she's still up there, a lot of times she'll come over to me to have me pull her down so she doesn't have to jump back down. And she sleepily walks over to me and I put her on my shoulder, and she's so tired she can barely purr. It was the softest, and she just kind of fell back asleep on my shoulder. I was like, oh my God, I love this baby. Tailfin, it's your birthday, and around here we do this. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tailfin. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good one, my friend. I really, really do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My kitty has had a rough day with this hot weather. She loves to go outside, but we had the air conditioner on in here, and then she goes outside and she almost immediately just fell over. She's furry as shit. And going from a 75-degree house to 95-degree outside just day, she's like, nah, bro. Anyway, so guys, thank you for coming, hanging out with us. Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind. Jack, anything you want to show out?
Doing it now. Dropping a couple links. Thank you guys so much for the donations. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the support you give us. Don't forget our links down below where you can get merch and support us in other ways, that sort of crap. But you guys are awesome, and it's good to see you night after night.
My wife learned the lawyer phrase, don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, the other day when the baby was over. She said, is Grandpa your favorite? And without hesitation, yeah. It was adorable to leave. And so well, actually, no, they'd just gotten there. My son, we watched them, and then my son came to pick them up with baby mama there. And he says to his daughter, come give me a kiss. And she shakes her head, no. And then her mom tried it. She said, no. And then Lady Monkey tried it and said, no. I said, come give me a kiss. And she immediately marched over and gave me a kiss.
Aw.
And then she gave everybody else a kiss afterwards. But you can't beat Grandpa. I don't know why they keep trying. I don't know why they keep trying.
Some people don't learn quick.
They don't. Those are my girls. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here, Jack. A pleasure as always.
Always glad to be here.
Take care of yourselves, guys. We love you. We'll see y'all on the next one. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Grandpa is the favorite, so y'all can suck it.